finally got a win yesterday. They would have been swept otherwise. So they head down to New York to play the Yankees tonight. That is a 7:05 first pitch here on MMS.
I thought they won Friday, not Saturday. Or not Sunday.
Yeah, they won the first one. Sorry, not the third one. So tonight, 7:05 on the Buzzard. Guardians Yankees. Who's the guy that the Yankees kept and paid a ton of money for?
Pedro Pascal.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, that's right. There you go. Hey, congratulations to our buddy Roy Wood Jr., by the way, who killed it as the entertainment, the host for the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
That's awesome.
This is I was driving back after my daughter's concert on Saturday night, and it was being aired on satellite. MSNBC has a satellite channel, and it was being aired there. And so I was listening to the replay around 1 in the morning, and I was just, I texted him. I said, I hope everybody was as uncomfortable as it sounded like they were. Because for people unfamiliar with it, White House Correspondents' Dinner, it's where all the media types get in this big room, and the president makes some remarks. They always have a host. I think Jost has done it. A lot of people have done it over the course of the years. Colbert's
Michelle
done
Wolf's done it. Colbert's done it.
Ja Rule's done it.
What?
Oh, Michelle Wolf.
Michelle
Yeah.
Wolf.
My question is, why do they keep asking comics to do this? Like,
Because they keep accepting.
Unless that's what they want. Because comics like Michelle Wolf or Roy Wood, those are people who are not shy about their political beliefs.
No, that's what they want.
Or that is what they want.
It's supposed to be everybody poking. Yeah, because they poke fun at whoever the president is, and Biden's sitting right there, and they jab him. But I like the cutaways. If you watch any of it, and you can find no shortage of, I think CNN.com might have a whole lot of them, the video portion of it, is they'll cut away to the people he's making fun of. And this isn't a thing, it also kind of just underscores the fact that whatever kind of cable news you're into, whether you like CNN, whether you are a nonstop Fox News watcher, whether you watch MSNBC, whatever silo you find yourself in, all those people want to be invited to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So it's the Fox News people hooping it up with the CNN people. I don't think Don Lemon was there. He made a lot of Don Lemon. I don't think Tucker Carlson was there. I don't know if those guys had gone in the past, but they would cut away to a whole bunch of Fox News people, and they were laughing their asses off. Mm-hmm. There are actors that are there, too. I think some years ago, Kim Kardashian was there, to no small amount of fake outrage. But Roy Wood had some great lines, talking about Tucker Carlson, talking about Don Lemon.
The untouchable Tucker Carlson is out of a job. Yeah. Okay. Some people celebrate it. But to Tucker's staff, I want you to know that I know what you're feeling. I work at The Daily Show, so I too have been blindsided by the sudden departure of the host of a fake news program. Don Lemon released a statement saying he got fired from CNN. Then CNN released a statement saying that they offered Don a meeting. They had to part ways because Don Lemon can't even accurately report a story about Don Lemon.
Now, some of his stuff flopped, obviously, but that's not his fault. That's the crowd's fault.
That's what I always say.
I know you do.
We should be inspired by the events in France. They rioted when the retirement age went up 2 years to 64. They rioted because they didn't want to work till 64. Meanwhile, in America, we have an 80-year-old man begging us for 4 more years of work.
Boy. That's a great joke.
I love that.
Yeah.
We should be inspired by the events.
Same one. Yeah, so he had a lot of good stuff there, and I love Roy Wood Jr. He's great.
Oh, he's great.
I think that he should be the host of The Daily Show. They've had after Trevor Noah left, they had they still have a rotating list of hosts that they're going to, I think, wrap up this fall. They were going to spend the better part of a year having celebrities and comedians and whatever. And each one of the Daily Show correspondents gets a week. Desi Lydic just finished hers. Klepper had his. Roy Wood had his. Obviously, we have some personal bias toward Roy Wood Jr., but I think he would be fantastic on that show if they decided to go
Because he's so
Somebody
funny
like
and he's
him.
so damn likable.
And he's so smart.
Yeah.
That's what I like about his comedy the most.
You never see it coming.
Yeah, it's like right there. It's a very like, man, why didn't I think of that? Like he just puts things together in a way that no one else does. Big fan of Roy Wood.
Happy to be here. Oh, real quick, Mr. President, I think you left some of your classified documents up here. You can get to no, don't give them to him. I'll put them in a safe place. He don't know where to keep them. But y'all look good, though. I've been watching and looking around all night. Y'all look good. You dressed nice. You got the nice threads on. You got the jewelry glistening. Look like everybody got a little piece of that settlement money from Fox News. And that's all I have to say about that, because I'm not going to have Dominion on my ass. I love Dominion. Matter of fact, let me just say right now, my favorite voting machine is Dominion voting machines. When I go to the polls, I make sure it is a Dominion machine that I use. If your election needs the truth, put Dominion in your booth.
And he does a callback later on because Fox News is also being sued by Smartmatic voting machine company. And so he does a callback with doing another ad for Smartmatic voting machines. If you want the truth, need them in your booth. Hey, Ricardo.
Hey, Alan, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Mary, how are you?
Yo, what up? I'm good.
Mr. Bill?
Hey, there it is. Hi.
Hey, real quick, this is amazing. So the musical director for the NSO, the National Symphony Orchestra, secretly was lending the orchestra, the instrument director, 300 to 400-year-old violins and violas, just to shape from without the artist knowing, just to shape the sound of the orchestra itself. Like he was swapping, basically lending a $5 million collection secretly for years to shape it to sound what it does now for the past 4 or 5 years. This guy, Gianandrea Noceda, you should take a look at him. He's amazing.
Well, these were, Ricardo, weren't these instruments that he had in his own collection?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then he was giving them to the instrument director, and you know, I thought it's brilliant.
But you also have to hope that no one drops your prized violin.
Right. There's a loaner contract basically with the artist, and it's a year to 2 years, and there's a lot of claptures and there's a lot of things, but they were just basically, you know, you go to play, you go to practice, but you don't take it home, you know.
Right.
So it's a well-regarded thing, but I thought that it was a really cool thing that this guy is implementing, based on to how deep orchestras and symphonies can get.
Yeah, if you want it to sound the way you want it to sound, you got to get in there and you got to shape it.
Yeah, 1600 violins from the 1600s, and then you know that does it, right?
Right.
But anyway, thank you very much, guys.
All right,
Love the
thank
show.
you, thank you, Ricardo.
Bye.
All right, there you go. There's Ricardo dropping some symphony knowledge on us. I got $1,000 here for you to win some money courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Very last week to do this, but plenty of chances between now and the end of the week. So good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Bills. That's bills. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
If you want to leave us voicemails anytime, day or night, you can use the Alan Cox Show After Hours line and drop them there. It's 216-986-8903.
Alan, Calvin can't listen on the podcast to the Sum Up Show on Friday. It's one of the segments you guys are talking about cremation and all the things that go along with that. I was on Reddit and saw a thing that was what's something that's true but it's really uncomfortable. And one of them was that your bones are always wet, which I feel like is weird and somebody should think about.
I guess I wouldn't have thought of it, but your bones are always wet.
We all got wet ass bones.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, you got a problem with a wet bone, Mary?
Yeah,
Hey-oh!
Okay, yeah, I do.
Uh,
I feel like it's weird and somebody should think about. The other one is that made me really uncomfortable that I think the world should know is During the cremation process, there is a point in time where you are perfectly well done. Just think about that. Love you, bye.
Probably only for a moment because it's so hot.
Yeah, only for a moment, and then you're overdone. Listen, I watch Yellow Jackets. I know how this works.
When we had my dad cremated, I asked the guy because my dad was big. He was just under 400 pounds. And I was like, hey, what size urn do we need? Like, do we need a giant urn for him? And he goes, no. He was like, the fat melts away, and then it's just bones. Your dad, I know, he like was talking to me like such an idiot. He was like, big boned isn't a real thing.
I was going to say, that's how you know being big boned is a crock of crap.
Well, that's what he said. He goes, it's not. Everyone's bones weigh about the same based on your height. You know, he goes, you need a regular size urn. It'll fit.
You thought it would be, and again, people grieve in different ways, so Mary's head wasn't right. But in your mind, you were like, it will take his entire mass and condense it into ashes.
Because you're not thinking of it as
bones.
Just being bones.
Yeah.
You think that like there's going to be ash from the entire body. I didn't know it was just bones.
I didn't know it was
turned to
either.
ash.
Because like literally everything else melts away.
I was going to say, but your skin, I mean, we've talked about the guy in the back seat of the car. We've talked about people melting away numerous times in this
but you
show.
don't really think about, like, it's just a new thing to think about when you...
Yeah, it's
like,
just, you're not ready for it. You're not ready
I would
for
have
those
had the
kinds of
same
things.
question.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Well, because I was like, I don't know. Like you said, you're grieving. Your mind's a cloud. You're not really thinking super clearly. Because I was like, well, we would need a giant casket. I know that. Like, we would need a huge casket if we're going to bury him.
Well, that's it. You put the whole body in the casket.
Right,
though.
but so I'm thinking along those lines, you know?
Yeah.
You could probably just be like gaudy and get a big ass urn though, if you want to.
Well, it's going to go in the ground, so no one's going to see it anyway.
Oh, well, then.
We didn't have his urn. Did we have his urn in his thing? Maybe we did. I don't remember.
I just last week saw a photo of my dad's gravestone because they don't put them up right away.
They have to wait 6 months for the ground to settle.
Well, something. Well, it's probably something along those lines.
That's what they told us.
This June will be the first anniversary of my dad's death, and I hadn't seen, because the last couple times I've been out to the grave, there's a marker there, a little thing, but the gravestone not there yet. And it's obviously, my mom and I were texting, and she goes, have you seen the grave? Because I told her I would pay for the gravestone and the engraving and all that. And she said, have you seen it? And I said, no. And I guess my sister had taken a photo, and so I hit her up, and I go, hey, send me a photo. And there's something very off-putting about a brand new headstone.
Isn't it?
It's super glossy, so it's like my sister's taking a photo in a mirror. It's so reflective. And it's got all the engraving for my dad and then my mom, but there's no date. It's only a birth date for my mom. There's no death date. And it was, so I haven't been out there yet to see the headstone, and I know it's going to flip me out when I get out there and see it.
Is there room for your mom's new husband's?
Shut up, Bill.
Did you guys
He's going to be buried with his former wife, I have to assume, but my mom's not dating. Shut up with that.
So on my dad's headstone, we opted for a picture of him, which once we saw it, I was like, that might have been a mistake. Because it's just like, it's a picture.
Not an engraving, an actual,
photo. Like,
because they can do amazing things with headstones now.
Right, like a color photo that we
Right.
sent them, and then they like digitally printed it onto the headstone. So now when you go see him, you're like, it's like him. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain amount of cognitive dissonance where it's like, okay, well, this isn't really my dad. You know, it's just a headstone, whatever. But this, you're like, when I go to talk to him, I'm like, oh, this is like fully your face.
Does that fade, or do they have like technology now that it won't fade?
No, they said it's like, I mean, not laminated, but you know what I mean? Like, whatever they use is supposed
It's
to
like
last
UV
forever.
protectant. Yeah, okay.
mhm.
All right.
So the headstone is to mark what?
Where they are buried.
No.
'Cause
Your dad's in an urn.
Yes.
They buried the urn.
We
urn.
buried the urn.
I'm sure we've talked about this.
So
Do you have to hire, like when you're burying an urn, do you have to do like full 6 feet, or can you
the
just bring?
cemetery does
Can you
it.
just bring like a garden
It's
shovel?
a
and do it on
union
your
gig.
own?
You gotta
Well,
pay
we don't
everybody
do
to do
it.
it.
They weren't like, hey, show up from 10 to 2 on Saturday with a shovel and you
I'm
figure
just like,
it out.
hey, we're gonna try and save a couple bucks here. That's what my dad would want.
Right. No, they take care of all that. I have no idea how far. Well, actually, yeah, because my brothers lowered the urn into the ground. But I don't know if it was a full 6 feet down. It was probably like 3 or 4 feet.
How unusual is that to bury an urn?
I don't know.
Because it seems like most people, they go one or the other. Like, we grew up Catholic, so my parents aren't into the cremation. I will be cremated, of course, but my mom and dad will be fully buried.
Yes.
My dad in the casket, lowered down, the whole thing. But my thought is always that people, when they're cremated, they're put on the mantle or something.
So what we
I'm
did...
curious how frequent that happens, that people buy a gravestone, which is not cheap. And obviously it's not, the whole thing's not as expensive because cremation's way less than all the rigmarole that goes with burial.
It was like $5,000 to get my dad cremated.
Yeah, it was like $20,000 tip to taint for my dad's whole thing. So, like, cremation is cheaper, is what I'm saying.
Depending on the casket you get an $85 casket at Costco if you want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to get cremated, most people just go, put him in this box. And
shoebox.
Right.
Well, what we did, because we ordered his urn off Amazon. We just ordered a nice urn off Amazon. And then the crematorium, I think is what it's called, had what are called keepsake urns. So they're tiny little, like 3 or 4 inch ones, and we ordered like 10 of those. So they were like, here was another fun thing that you're not ready for when someone dies. They're like, well, do you want to split up the ashes yourself, or do you want us to do it for you? And we're like, you do that. We don't want to be in the kitchen with a funnel trying to put dad into 10 different tiny urns. So we had like most of his cremains in the big urn that got buried, and then all my siblings and his siblings, like my aunts and uncles, got like the tiny little, with just a little bit of him in it.
My favorite part of shopping for an urn on Amazon, as I bring this up here, is this one offers free overnight delivery.
Just in case.
In case you really, really need it quickly.
I didn't get the urn. You were supposed to get the urn.
Because that's a thing now, depending on where it's coming from, or, a lot of times you'll order something and it's just coming from a local grocery store. You can get it overnight.
I get everything overnight.
You get up in the morning and your Amazon boxes are on the porch or whatever. These urns, there's a pretty nice one here for $69.
They're not expensive. Nice. I mean, they can get expensive depending on what you put on.
Here's an urn for $21.11.
Yeah, I don't care what you put me in a Tupperware. I don't care. I'm dead.
Tupperware. I mean, it doesn't really matter. That's the thing, is that he's dead.
When you go to pop the seal, some ashes come out in your face.
Makes a little sound still good.
Like air escapes.
Yeah.
It puffs it all up like a bag of old spinach.
Here's a keepsake large black marble urn with 4 small urns.
Yeah, some of them they do. Yeah, some of them they do like combo deals or whatever. But the guy at the crematorium told us about that because we're like, dude, we're not trying to sift this on our own. Please do this for us. This is what you do for a living, and it's not your dad. Like, that'd be great if you could take care of this.
Yeah, well, cemeteries have a regular section, smaller plots for ashes. Okay.
Well, I
guess I genuinely wasn't hip to like how common that is. Or
my dad's parents bought a 4-plot site, so one for each of them. I don't know when they bought it. I don't know how old they were, but they had 4 kids. So, but they only bought, so that would have been 6 total for the whole family, but they only bought 4 plots. Mm-hmm. So we buried my dad where my grandma and grandpa are buried. So there's only 1 left.
Gotcha.
I guess we could probably stack on top of each other if it's just an urn, right?
Yeah.
Like if his sister died, we could just put it in there too.
Yeah.
It's not full casket. I don't know, but yeah.
So do they use, Mike in Parma wants to know, do they use a post hole digger? Just that to get the urn down in there?
Honestly, it was a small hole. We were afraid the little kids were going to fall in it because, like, if you weren't looking for it, you weren't going to see it. It's not a big, giant 6-foot hole. It was probably 2 feet by 2 feet, like a square, just enough to put the urn in, and then we all, like, walked by and threw the dirt on it, and then
yeah, sure.
We covered it up. It wasn't huge.
Alan, my sister had her horse cremated. And about 3 weeks later, she had a huge box delivered to the house with, that's a horse.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, those are massive bones that come out your
bones. You know what's spooky? There's 3 skeletons in this room right now. And they're wet.
Can you see them?
Well, then what does the phrase dry as a bone mean? Like a bone that's been uncovered and in the desert?
Yeah, a dried bone.
What about wet as a bone? I'm wet as a bone over here. I'm still alive.
Come on, man.
Shame. Wet as my bones.
Shame. It's raining bones out there.
Yeah.
Making bone broth over here.
That's
what I call the wet spot.
Bone broth.
Something wrong with you, man.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. He likes what he likes.
I call things what I call things.
That's right. It's live audio of Bill's girl.
Yeah. Welcome to the crematorium.
Oh, come on.
CREAM. I've got to take a break. If you want to send a text, 35192, you can listen live wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
Rover's Morning Glory.
Our video director was in the bathroom with Keith, the head honcho, and while they're at the urinals, Keith just